Hey everyone, happy Thursday to you. Hope you're having a great week. Sorry, my cat might get in the way of the camera and she's shedding her hair all over me. It's really annoying. Um, Sorry about that. So anyways, lots of interruptions today. Anyways, my name is Courtney McIntyre. I am a certified pediatric sleep consultant. I work with children from the ages of newborn to 5 years old, and I'm actually training to go up to the age of 10. So I'll have that under my belt as well soon. And today I have a video for you about something that is very serious for many parents, and that is postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. There are a lot of perinatal mental illnesses or disorders that you can experience and go through. I think I want to say there's six of them, but my memory's horrible. There could be a little bit more or less. But I want to talk about postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression. I have made a couple videos on these before, but I kind of wanted to just take like a deeper dive into this today. So let's get right into it. And now that I don't have any distractions from my cat, it should be a lot easier. All right, so. It is actually Maternal Mental Health Week in some places around the world, and that is why I'm talking about this subject this week. But I also wanted to say that I have been through postpartum depression and anxiety myself. You can have them separately, you can have them together. Both are common. But anyways, that's why I wanted to really shine a light on this week, and really talk about it and have a communication, open up communication about it, so it's not, people don't have to feel ashamed or guilty about what they're going through or what they're feeling, because a lot of parents will feel that way. And I do want to say that I will say parents, even though it is Maternal Mental Health Week, I will be saying parents, because fathers can go through this just as much as the mother or female is as well. So I will be saying parents, because this video pertains to the father and the mother, not just one or the other. You're both equally important, and you both deserve to get help if you need it. So let's just jump right into this. Postpartum depression. Let's start with postpartum depression. But if we start there, we kind of have to back up a little bit here, because postpartum depression can actually be confused with the baby blues. The baby blues are actually very common and very normal for every mother, and even fathers can experience it as well. But mothers experience it because of the drop in hormones, or the increase and then the drop in hormones. And especially if they're breastfeeding too, there's just so many hormones going on, and they're up and down and fluctuating, and it's very, very hard. So they'll have some feelings that are changing, and they call it the baby blues. And this usually happens between 1 to 2 weeks after giving birth. And you can experience like bouts of anxiety, crying spells. Maybe you're feeling restless, or you have mood swings, and there's other symptoms that I'll go through in a minute. But the difference between the baby blues and postpartum depression, because the feelings are the symptoms, I should say, are very, very similar. But with the baby blues, it usually goes away after a couple days sometimes it can stay for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then it starts fading away and it goes away. That doesn't happen with postpartum depression. The feelings get more intense, they get more frequent, and they just get worse and worse over time, and they're much, much longer in length, sometimes even leading up to months, or even years if you don't get help. So let's first of all talk about the baby blues before we get into postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. And for short, I might actually call them PPD and PPA. PPD, postpartum depression; PPA, postpartum anxiety. Anyways, so the baby blues, their symptoms would be you're experiencing sadness, irritability, anxiety, mood swings. You might become overwhelmed and just like you're getting irritable and frustrated with things so easily. You might have difficulty sleeping. You might have bouts of crying where you're, all of a sudden you'll start crying out of nowhere. Or maybe there is a reason for it, but you're crying a lot more than usual. You might find it hard to concentrate on things, and you might have trouble with your appetite. You might be eating a lot more than usual. You might be eating a lot less than usual. Your appetite is just not the same. So that would be the baby blues. And the key word there is that it starts between 1 to 2 weeks after you give birth, and it only usually lasts up to 2 weeks long, more or less. It doesn't really go on much longer than that, and it usually fades away. Whereas with postpartum depression, it's very, very different. Postpartum depression is actually a very serious mood disorder. It can be mistaken for the baby blues because they're so similar, but like I explained before, postpartum depression lasts longer and the feelings are much more intense. So it can even become so intense that it's interfering with your daily life. It's getting hard to do daily tasks like get dressed. You don't feel like getting dressed. It's just too hard. It just takes too much of your effort. Showering, you don't want to shower anymore. I'm done showering. Of course, you'll shower, but you're not showering like you used to. There's so many little things, and then there's also these big things that it can interfere with as well, such as eating. You might just not feel like eating, or you're eating a lot. So it's really affecting your daily life, and it's hard for you to take care of yourself and to take care of your baby. It can happen like the baby blues, where it's 1 to 2 weeks after you give birth, but it can even start before then. It can start during pregnancy. And it may even happen much later. You might start experiencing postpartum depression when your baby is a year old. That is actually very common for a lot of moms, and it can last for a while. So some of the symptoms of postpartum depression are intense sadness. You might have a depressed mood, or you might have severe mood swings where you're super happy and then you're crying, and then you're happy and then you're sad, and I should say maybe you're not sad because you were just crying, but the mood swings they're going up and down very severely. You might have changes in your appetite, same as with baby blues. You might be eating more or less. You might have excessive amounts of crying. The crying might be extreme, where you're maybe a lot of your day spent crying, or maybe not, but you're crying a lot more than you usually do. You're finding it really hard to bond with your baby and have that special connection with your baby. And that is very hard for some parents to experience. You might have difficulty concentrating, making decisions, or thinking clearly. You might be avoiding family and friends because you're too tired, you're too done, you just want to be in your house alone, and that's that. Or maybe certain situations make you feel a certain way and you don't want to be around it. You may experience intense irritability and anger. You might be having insomnia, or maybe you're getting too much sleep where you can't stop sleeping. You're just sleeping all the time. You might feel restless. You might feel like you're not a good enough parent. You might not show interest in your usual activities and hobbies, like things that you used to love to do. You don't really care about those anymore. You might have severe anxiety. You might have feelings of shame, worthlessness, guilt, extremely common with parents who are depressed because they just don't feel like they're good enough. You might be feeling hopeless, like there's no hope for you, and everything is going to crap, it's not going well. You might have a very extreme fatigue or loss of energy. You might have thoughts of harming the baby or yourself. And you might experience suicidal thoughts. So all those are extremely important, and obviously those are symptoms of depression, not something to mess around with. Obviously, it's a very, very serious mood disorder. And then let's talk about postpartum anxiety. So postpartum anxiety can, more times than not, will happen with depression, but sometimes it doesn't. And actually, there are some studies that have been done that say that postpartum anxiety is actually much more common than postpartum depression. But it's just not reported as much because a lot of people will just overlook their postpartum anxiety. Sometimes even look at postpartum depression, although that gets hard after a while. But anyways, so Postpartum anxiety is anxiety that occurs after giving birth, but this as well can start during pregnancy, or same as postpartum depression, it can start a year after giving birth. So parents who experience this may have intrusive, persistent thoughts that just don't go away no matter how hard they try. They may have intense anxiety over their baby, and it can interfere with their daily functioning. They may also have uncontrollable worries that make it hard to care for the baby and themselves. So some of these symptoms are fatigue, panic attacks, excessive worrying. Like I said before, intrusive, persistent thoughts that cause worry or that can cause fear in you. They might have insomnia. You might avoid situations, people, or places because you know they're going to cause you anxiety because you're going to get fearful over certain things going on, such as putting your baby in the car. Well, what if we get into an accident? What if they fly out of their seat? What if? What if? There's always what ifs with anxiety. What if this happens? Even though a lot of the times you're jumping to the worst thing that could possibly happen, that more than likely will not happen. That is postpartum anxiety. You might feel tense and yeah, just your body may be tense. Everything about you is tense. You might be shaking or trembling, which usually happens before or after a panic attack. You might have dry mouth or nausea. And an irregular heartbeat. A lot of people that experience anxiety will experience an irregular heartbeat. And so, what I want to say about both of these things is if you are experiencing these things, you, you need to know that it is normal to after you have a baby to be worrying and for it to be stressful. It's a new baby, and I mean even a year after, you're still going through so many changes and everything is different in your life, and that's normal. It's normal to sometimes feel worried or stressed about your situation. But when these feelings start to really interfere with your day-to-day life, making it hard for you to like cope with your life and live your life how you normally do, that is a sign that you are more than likely experiencing something much more intense. You're more than likely experiencing a perinatal mental illness, probably as we're talking about these ones, PPA or PPD. So if you are struggling with any of these symptoms, if any of these things ring a bell for you and you're really feeling like these are ticking boxes for you, I highly recommend and suggest for you to go talk to a trusted doctor. I know that that's scary sometimes for some people. I know because I've been there, and sometimes you just don't feel like talking to somebody. You don't want to. You're just, you'd rather just deal with it yourself and hope that it goes away. I can attest to the fact that it won't go away. It will get worse, and it can get to a point where things get really scary. So don't suffer through it alone. You don't need to suffer through it alone. You deserve to be happy with your life, with your new life, with your baby, and you don't deserve to have to sit there and be suffering in silence. So please, I implore you to please get help if you're checking any of these boxes, and you're feeling like you are maybe suffering from one of these mental disorders. Talk to your doctor, tell them the symptoms you're experiencing, and get the help you need. I just wanted to quickly share my story before I end this video because it's getting too long for my liking. But I did experience postpartum anxiety and depression. I experienced it with all of my children, all for different ways, for different reasons, I should say. The worst one was probably my son because there was a lot of things going on in my life when I just had him. And so it got really hard for me. I wasn't myself anymore, and that's really the best way I can describe it. I wasn't myself. I didn't feel like myself. And I didn't want to get help because I didn't feel like I wanted to talk to anybody about what I was going through. And I didn't feel like they could help me. I felt like whatever, like, how are they going to help me? They're not going to be able to help me. This is my situation. I need to try to sort this out on my own. I should be feeling differently about this situation. I should feel like a better mom. Because in all reality, I didn't feel like a good mom. I felt like a failure in so many ways. I felt so much guilt and depression and shame, and worthlessness. I felt hopeless. But eventually, I did reach out to somebody, and I got help for a lot of the past trauma that I've been through. Um, one of my pregnancies that I did have postpartum depression and anxiety about was because I actually ended up getting a C-section. It wasn't the birth I wanted. I was very, very upset about it. I was very depressed and upset, felt like a failure, felt like I couldn't give birth properly. I didn't feel like I should ever have a baby again. There were so many different things that that situation caused me to fall into a depression about. Luckily for me, I came out of that. I honestly don't know how, but then I had my son, and that was honestly the worst part for me was that whole situation. There was so many things going on at once after I had my son that I was just not there mentally. And it was a scary, scary time. And looking back on it now, being a lot more healthy, I see how lost and confused and how much I needed help. So I really, really want you guys to know that getting help will help. It actually will get you to a place where you're happy again, enjoying your life, enjoying your kids. You feel like you have, you're not a bad mom, and you're not, or dad. You're doing the best you can, and if you get help, I promise you won't regret it. So if you are experiencing these things, please, please get help. I'm telling you right now, from someone who experienced it myself, I don't regret getting help. At the time, I was very, very stubborn about getting it, but once I did get it, I'm feeling a lot better now. So please definitely do it. Of course, that's not to say that you won't have any other problems ever again with your children or with your life as a mom, because I still have those. I still have problems as a mom, and with my kids. I homeschool them. And let me tell you, with a toddler running around trying to homeschool two older children, it's not that easy. And it gets very hard some days. The homeschooling itself isn't that bad, but with a toddler running around, he's like three children in one. So, yes, it gets a little overwhelming. But, anyways, get the help if you need it. I highly, highly suggest it. So if this if this video helped you, please share it with other people. You never know who could use this today. I have a link to my Facebook group in the description box. I also have a link to my website, sleepylittle1.org. If you would like to have a free group to get weekly advice, I suggest coming to my group. If you'd like a more personalized one-on-one plan for your individual family, I can help you with that as well. Just go to my website, check it out. If you like it, what you see, let me know. This video is way too long, so I'm going to end it now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.